Hello, hello, hello. You're tuning into another episode of The Wunderkind Show. Today's second topic. It's a pretty simple topic because I'm going to address some things today. And today's topic is pretty much about equivalent measures. Now, what I mean by equivalent measures is measuring things across the board equally, right? Arguing points equally. Look, I planned on touching on draft prospects this episode, but I think I had to make an episode like this because of what's been going on today. So there has been a lot of flack from the Raven Flack towards one named Lamar Jackson about him being greedy, him being a team ruiner, him being gluttonous, him being unintelligent, him being spiteful. And the reason why I wanted to address that is because when you defend somebody in your viewpoint that you deem is in the right, you're always going to catch strays. I think that's just part of the gig. You know what I mean? That's just part of the show. And I tell you what, if you read some of the comments that I've had to block, because I usually don't block people, but like comments I had to actually take down from videos or people sending things to me in my comment section for Twitter, you would understand where I'm coming from. But I'm at kind of an impasse when it comes to a lot of fans. So much of an impasse that I don't even like speaking to a lot of people about it no more. And the reason when it comes to the Lamar and the Ravens' inability to come to an agreement or an understanding with one another. And here's why. Here's the reason why. This is the foundation in which I stand on. If this was another team, let's say this was the Browns. Let's say this maybe be the Bengals. Raven fans would absolutely crush the front office's dealings with their star QB. And it's not just about the dealings, right? It's always more. There's layers. This is like lasagna. There's layers. A good lasagna has layers. It's not just, oh, you have pasta, then meat, then cheese. No, it's layered. So the flavor is in more than one piece. We're talking about an organization that likes to strong arm their talent. And this is the part that gets me with fans. So many of you speak so highly of Ray Lewis. They strong-armed him. This organization was built on the back of Ray Lewis. They strong-armed him. They strong-armed Ed Reed. They strong-armed Terrell Suggs. And now they're in the business of strong-arming the best quarterback that they've ever had. At a time when QBs are the most important and they equate more to winning than ever before in recent NFL history. So I look at this team and I say, okay, you have a history of strong-arming your talent. Okay, whatever. I guess it's ingrained in you. I guess it's in your blood. What did Blade say in the movie? It's in my blood. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, fine. It's in your purple blood. Is it in your purple blood to keep people on the payroll that cost you large portions of the season? When Steve Saunders gave everybody COVID, right? I wanted him gone from then. people have revisionist history. When COVID had just hit and we were going through the throes of it, you know, everything's locked down. You got to wear masks everywhere, sanitizers at a minimum. You're fighting people for baby wipes. There's no toilet paper or paper towel. You know what I'm saying? People forget that there were athletes being fired, let go, for breaking COVID protocol. You understand where I'm coming from? Athletes. These are the guys that put on the performances week in and week out for your enjoyment, for your fandom. And those are the rules for them. They had a coach that broke those rules. Actively, openly broke them. And got the entire team sick with COVID. Now, at least in our favor, the NFL, you know, did us one a solid, where they kind of pushed the games back and stuff like that, where they didn't have to do that because there were teams that got sick that broke protocol, and they said, well, you're going to play with 10 people, we don't care, right? Send a message. They still kept that man employed. It comes out that this man has ended multiple players' careers early, simply because of the way he was forcing them to work out. You kept them on the payroll. You went to bat for him. And even when we wanted him gone during COVID, you took him out of the spotlight just to continue to pay him and keep him on staff. Okay. Maybe that's just a mistake, you know. You look at Greg Roman. Great success, 2019. Nobody can take away that year from the accomplishments of one named Gregory P. Roman. And yes, that's his name. Greatest rushing attack to ever be on display in NFL history. One of the greatest offensive performances throughout a season in NFL history. And one of the most efficient, if not the most efficient, quarterbacking season we have seen in a recent NFL history. And you got him. He did great. Okay, 2019. 2020, you saw where the wheels were starting to fall off. You understand where I'm coming from? You had the chirping from the players, saying they're calling out our plays. They know what we're going to do next. It's being hard to do certain stuff because they know exactly what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, how we're going to do it. And they know the counters to what those things are. And you defended him. You said, hey, you know, the quarterback goes to the line with multiple plays. And, you know, the critiquing of Lamar was turned up a bit. Right? Okay. There's that. Then we get the injury-plagued season. That is absolutely just ridiculous. But throughout all those injuries, this team remained at the top of the AFC in totality, with teams like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, all vying for contention. Right? So, okay. There's that. And Greg Roman showed just how inefficient and how unreliable his offense was without it being driven by one named Lamar. Okay. It was so frustrating that EDC's first number one pick by himself, Hollywood Brown, absolutely wanted out. He wanted out. And to backtrack a little bit, Hollywood, there was multiple times that it sounded like Hollywood was being disgruntled, saying, you know, why have soldiers if you're not going to use them? He was scrutinized. He comes out and says some other things. He was scrutinized, and then he's dealt. Gone away. And every Raven fan during that draft said, oh, we're going to get a receiver early. Of course, we're going to replace Hollywood. And that never happened. Never happened. They said, Lamar, you're going to go to war with the paltry weapons that you have. And if one injury happens, well, you know, be Superman every week. There's no such thing as kryptonite, right? So that season happened. Started off hot. Bateman gets hurt. Year goes down. Crapshoot. Because there's nobody that can get open on the outsides. Multiple statistics stated that the closest, almost difficult passes out of the top 5, the Ravens had 3 of them. And it continued. The offense looked stagnant. They knew what we were doing. And we couldn't get nothing truly going. On top of all of that, he refused to play players in spots when everybody knew that they'd be successful. I.e. J.K. Dobbins, i.e. Isaiah Likely. Bro, the list goes on. And they still kept him. So finally, everything comes ahead. You have Lamar fuming. He's pissed. He hasn't been paid. Come on now. We know why. If they wanted to pay him, they could have paid him earlier. You know, you have the owner coming out saying, you know, EDC just can't follow him around and try to give him money. You know, he has to meet at the table. EDC says, you know, Lamar's distant from us and stuff like that. Everything playing to the narrative that it's Lamar's fault that the deal's not getting done. And then, unbeknownst to all of us, you know, behind the scenes, he's hinting at wanting to leave. So they let go Greg Roman. It's like, oh, that'll appease him. They get rid of Steve Saunders. That will appease him. And he says, no, it's not enough. Trade me. Trade me. And how do they respond? They hit him with the non-exclusive tag. I say all those things to say this. The Ravens have been difficult. They've been undeniably ignorant. They have been incompetent. And they have been ego-driven through this entire process. Because I'll tell you something right now, and people make me laugh so much. You go to work. You go to work. You work your butt off. You prove to the company that you're the person that you believe can take them higher than where they're at. And you prove that. You make them money. Lots of money. And you know what they say to you at first? The market for you, we really can't meet that right now, even though you've made them 10 times what you're asking for over. And you would have to wait years to get throughout your contract that you're doing. The contract that you're asking for, you've already made it well into 10 times over. And they say, you know what? Let's just see it out. We're gonna get it done. Trust the process. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it. And you don't get it. And then you see everybody else getting it. People that are required to do less than you. People that are getting more adulation than you and less blame than you, all while having to do less than you. And you're watching it from afar, and the team and your job is uplifting them and downing you every chance they get. And then you find out that this job, your team leader, right, is, you know, sabotaging everything and ruining the projects, which you're fighting against. So you're fighting against the team manager. You're fighting against, you know what I'm saying, management, until finally you say, you know what? I think I want to go to the rival company. You know, I feel like they'll appreciate my services and everything else. And they go behind your back and spread everything about, oh, he wants this. That's why we won't give it to him, you know. So what they say, he's not going to get that over here. So then no one even looks your direction. And then they say, well, come on, come back. You know, we'll try to make things better. All while knowing and everybody knows this, that they screwed you over. And they screwed you over not just in the contract talks. They screwed you over in the way that they built the team offensively around you. So then, what do you do in that situation? Because I already know, listen, I've seen people get pissed off for much less. Much less. All of us have been in the workplace. We've seen people lose their minds over $4, $2, $3 raises. Cuss the company, say I deserve way more. I work all these extra hours. I put in all this extra time. I do more than X, Y, and Z, and then somehow they're getting more than me, and blah, 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 blah. You would have a problem with that. See, I look at the world because I get a lot of hate because I'm known as a Lamar apologist, which is hilarious to me. I look through the world through a lens of equality. You might call it to say it's naive, but I tend to seem to, when you look at it through that lens, it's a fair diagnosis of everybody on a equal footing. Because here's the thing. I always tell people, how would you react in the situation? And a lot of times the people with the biggest mouths during these situations are the people that react and act worst when it comes to getting it done. So I'm at a point now where I'm like, look, I know where I stand. This platform will always be truth, facts is what we base everything on. But I wanted to address everything because I think people don't look at people like athletes like humans. They'll feel slighted. They'll get mad. They'll be pissed. They'll get angry. They'll get annoyed. And Lamar Jackson, as much as he puts on these dances, he's happy. You think the Ravens, you think he's not, annoyed with the Ravens, mad at the Ravens, frustrated with the Ravens, with the lack of commitment on the defensive end, which he operates and controls, while he harbors. And to make a point drive even further, I've said this before on previous episodes. Do y'all remember when when he got injured and the Ravens lied? So we can't speak on it. There's laws against that. And of course there's no laws against a coach speaking, because coaches speak on injuries all the time, right? And you watch what happens. You say, okay, no problem. That's what's going on. And they act like they don't know what's going on. They play into the narrative of questioning his commitment to the team and his willingness to play injured for this team. And everybody jumps at that moment, questioning him, shaming him, making fun of him. The derogatory things that were coming out of some people's mouths was astonishing. So I say all this to say to you that it's a hot button topic with everything that comes with Lamar Jackson. And I'm not scared to step into the kitchen. But I want y'all to understand where I'm coming from when I make my assessments of this team and one named Lamar. You understand where I'm coming from? Because if you take a step back and you say, look, it can't just be about money. It's about principle. It's about doing the right thing. Then you'll understand probably where that young man is coming from, because the Ravens have not done right by him. They have not. And if you're an adult that works hard and has to earn everything that you put into your home, into your house, into your savings, then you would understand the point that I'm trying to make. And that's another episode of The Wunderkind Show. Thank you all for watching. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you're here with me. You know I appreciate that. Please do remember, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. I love the comments. Just try to be understanding and have class down there so you don't have any problems, because, some people do like to cuss people out and be very negative. And we're going to, starting tomorrow, we're going to start deep diving into draft prospects. Yes, the Wunderkind Show will be jumping into draft prospects for the upcoming draft. And I think you're going to like some of the names that I'm pulling out of the hat that I think can make big differences for not only the Ravens now, but for later. So, if you would like to donate to this channel, at the bottom of the screen is a Cash App. You will also find that Cash App in the description of every video that we put out. Money sign, The Wunderkind Show. And then also in the description of every video, you will find the Patreon, right? That is now up and running. It gives you access to the Discord, access for questions from subscribers. There will be giveaways, all that stuff when you become a patron. So go out there and become a patron of The Wunderkind Show and join up Team Wunderkind, okay? And like I said before, this is The Wunderkind Show. It's your host, Nitro, signing off. I love all of you, and y'all know my slogan. You know my slogan. Peace. And I am out of here. Yeah.